Hi there, this is Luise Heinzel. Thank you very much for joining me today. I have a question for you. Have you ever seen me using autumn leaves in my junk journal projects? I think the answer is no. I think since I have my YouTube channel, I've never done that. And also without the camera, I think I've never done that. But junk journaling is also challenging yourself and trying out new things. So I would like to try to include some autumn leaves into my junk journal project that I'm doing here today. This idea was totally inspired by my junk journal friend Maud from the Netherlands. She has created an autumn prompt list, and prompt number 17 says, put some autumn leaves into your junk journal. If you are interested in the things that Maud is doing on her YouTube channel, or if you are interested in this prompt list, please check out the info box. I have listed every information down below for you so that you can check that out. I have this page here for my project. So as you can see, this is not a junk journal, of course, it's only a single page. This comes from a paper bag, and I want to create my page on this paper, and then later on I will glue this page into my journal. I also have some other materials here, as you can see. This is the monthly subscription box from Your Creative Studio. This is the box of September. So if you have this box, perhaps you can get some inspiration with this video as well, what you can do with some of the items of this box. So I will not use everything, but some of the items that are in this box. I also have linked, this information, how you can get such a monthly subscription box from Your Creative Studio, down below in the description box. If you want to check that out and have such a box for you as well, then please check out the info box. So the first thing that I would like to do here is I would like to take some of this washi paper. So in the camera, of course, it looks like normal paper, but it's sticky on the back side. That's, of course, a really cool thing because you can glue, such things directly to your page. I would like to create something like a background for my page. Later on, you will see nothing of this, but yeah, in this moment, I thought it could be a great idea to collage some of these pieces to the background. So if you want to do that, then please make sure that you seal the surface of this washi paper with some kind of a sealer, because the surface, the back side of this thing is only some kind of a sticker paper. And if you want to use wet mediums, water or watercolor, acrylic paints or whatever, then of course you have to seal this so that this washi paper doesn't come off from your page. I'm doing this step here with some white gesso. My plan here was to mute the colors and this writing that the paper has on top, to mute that a little bit down. I took way too much gesso, so I tried to blend that out to the sides a little bit. And as I said, later on you will see nothing of this beautiful paper. But yeah, that's the process of junk journaling. I mean, you have an idea in the beginning and you try that out and you think, oh, beautiful. Then you go on, and later perhaps some other layers go on top of this, and yeah, probably you don't see anything of the first layer. And that's what happened here to me. But I think my result is satisfying as well. So for me, it was a really interesting process because I tried out different things that I've never done before. So in the next step, I would like to use a stencil because I really like this white gesso on this paper bag brown color. So I don't want to have the whole page covered up with white things or with this gesso, but a little bit more than I have it here. I want to have something of this brown on the frame of the page, but not so much in the middle. And here I'm trying something that I've never done before as well. So I'm trying to apply my gesso through the stencil with my fingers. Normally, of course, I would use this palette knife thingy and bring it through the stencil, but I thought I could get perhaps something like an abstract version of this stencil pattern. Yeah, you will see in a second that worked not so very well. I don't know. I think the pressing with the pressure of my fingers was a little bit too much, and I think I went around too long over the stencil to get a cool result. So yeah, let's see. Look at this. That looks really strange. It reminds me to some really big snowflakes or something like that, but of course that's not what I wanted here. But yeah, again, junk journaling is all about going on, trying things and live with what you have at the moment and try to make the best out of it. And you will see that later on in the video as well. This process was exactly this. I found out some things that worked and that worked not, and I tried to live with what I had there. For example, this result looks much better in my eyes because here it's not so, like a child in the kindergarten has made it. The top one is really thick and really smeary, some kind of strange. So I tried to, make something like an art journaling page out of this. I don't know if I can say it like that. I tried to blend this a little bit, and when I went over this with my fingers, I realized that I can get a really cool result by smearing these dots around. Sounds a little bit strange, but suddenly I liked this pattern. Of course, some of you might think this looks way more bad since I have smeared this, but I think if you make a junk journal page, you have to be satisfied with it and no one else. And that's also something that I'm always struggling a little bit, because when you make YouTube videos, of course, other people will see it. And I'm also, every time I'm really nervous when I have such kind of process, what you think about that and how you feel, these moments in those kind of videos. Perhaps you would like to leave a comment and tell me something about that. So let's go back to the project. I had this green color, so I bought that the other day in a dollar store, and I've never used it before. As you can see, it's still sealed, and first I didn't know how to get the paint out of this, but you can see I've managed it. Every day you have to learn something new, so now I know how to get the paint out of this. So this paint is an acrylic paint. It's, as you can see, some kind of pastel, is that an English word? So there's really light green. I really like that. It has much white in it. And I want to try to get this to the background of my page. I know that these are not the typically autumny colors, but I wanted to have this contrast. I mean, my autumn leaves that go to the page later are obviously autumn themed. Yeah, do you know what I mean? But this green is a great contrast to the leaves. I think the colors match really well, but it's not this typically autumn color. And that was, the challenge, and this, do you know what I mean? This cherry on the cream for me. And I tried to apply this really randomly here. I realized that the paint was really, really liquid, and it was really hard to dry it. Even if this coat of paint was really thin, I was really surprised about that. I mean, it is a really cheap acrylic paint, so what can I expect? I have to live with it again. So then I have these cigarette cards here. I got those the other day with a happy mail, and this page will later go in my Och Katzelschworf junk journal. That is this junk journal that I create out of all of the entries that I got from my 10,000 subscribers junk journal tag challenge here on YouTube. And one of my viewers has sent me these beautiful cigarette cards as a happy mail during this challenge time. And she also has sent her tag, but that was a happy mail. And I wanted to include one of these cards here to have this memory of this happy mail in my junk journal as well. In this monthly subscription box from September from Your Creative Studio, there are also these things here. As you can see, it's a really wild mix of ephemera. These things, I think, are meant to fold so that you later have an envelope. There are some tags and some of these little papers with some autumn-themed images. So, for example, this mushroom, I think, would fit really well to this page. And I've tried to choose those things that would match this autumn theme from this little collection that was in the box. There are also some of these transparent pictures, so that's, I don't know, some kind of a washi paper as well. It has this plastic on the back side that you can peel off and then you can use it. But I think for this project, it's not so good to have some transparent papers in the foreground. So I've decided that I only want to use these images that are printed to normal paper. I think this mushroom fits really well to my red leaves that I have there. And yeah, here I had this green mushroom. This one would have fit really well to this project, but later on I decided that I don't want to use it. Everything has changed, and yeah, you know, this butterfly is also really nice, but not for autumn, and it's also this washi sticker thingy. Yeah, first I thought I could use this little tag. It has some mushrooms on it as well. And here I'm trying to bring that into a position that would make sense. But because of this layering, that was not so easy, and too much of the image would disappear if I would use it for the collage. So I decided that I don't want to use it. In the box, there also are these little stamps. So these are, yeah, some kind of postage stamps, really cute. Also in this washi sticker, you know, optic, they are, the prints are not so clear. I mean, it's, yeah, really light, a really light print. I think those are great for, yeah, collaging in the background, or for perhaps something that you need in the background and you want to put something on top, a label, for example. So I think when these are glued, that can look really great. So I decided to use these both here that have this writing on top, and I positioned them in the very background of this collage thing. Then I laid my leaves there to my page to see how this whole thing can be. And I thought the colors fit really well together, but something goes wrong here. And you can't imagine how long I was on my table looking at this thing, and I thought something is going totally wrong here. And I had no idea what it was. So yeah, here you have seen I've edited the video. Of course, I've cut many things out of this video because I think I was 3 hours on my desk until I had finished my page. And in between of this both scenes you have seen here, I've decided that I have to bring the background to a darker stage. I mean, the contrast between the pictures that I've used for the collage, or want to use for the collage, and the background, it's not enough. I can't make these pictures and these little papers darker. The only thing that I could do is I could distress the edges, but that's all. And that wouldn't bring the image itself to a darker mode. So I decided that I want to make my background darker so that I have the pictures itself in this lighter original version on top. For this plan, I've tried to use some watercolor. Yeah. You will see in a second what happened. So first of all, I thought if I use much water, then I can let the paint do what it wants. And I thought that on this acrylic paint and gesso surface, that would work really well. I've often painted on gesso with my watercolors, and that worked really well, and the color, yeah, went over the paper. But here, it seems to be like it is staying in one area. It was really strange. But yeah, I spritzed some more water and tried my best to get some greens and browns here to the background. And now, as you can see, the contrast is way more, and I think this looks much better than before. Of course, the collage is not finished yet, but I can already see that the contrast is much better than before. I was a little bit, yeah, disappointed that I've lost my white dots in the background. So I decided that I want to bring some of these dots back to my, yeah, foreground of the background. Does that make sense? Uy, I don't know. So I took some white gesso, and this time I took my palette knife and brought that to the stencil. Because of the fact that the paper is really crumpled up, of course, the result is not so clear, but I think I can live with this. So that was much better than this stenciling before. And yeah, coffee always helps you when you have some struggling with your pages. I thought I have to go a little bit more crazy way. So I don't know what it was, but I was not satisfied with this background, and I couldn't go on, because when I'm not satisfied with the background, how can I be satisfied with the end result? That's not possible for me. So I decided to bring some more vintage feeling into this page, and I've yeah, as you could see, crumbled the paper a little bit more than it was before. And here I'm going over this whole thing with my ink pad. That's the Distress Oxide ink vintage photo. And when you do it like this, it's really cool because you get the ink not everywhere, but you can bring out these little damages of the paper. And I think that looks really cool, especially here on the top. It looks really great. I tried to get this effect to the edges of my page a little bit more, because the most of this inner part of the page will be covered up by the collage later. And then I thought, why am I struggling with my collage? I had laid some of my elements that I wanted to use for the collage to this page before, and there I thought, oh, really strange, and I'm not happy with it, and I want to change something, but I don't know what. So I decided to go step by step. So I'm taking my focal point, that's of course this cigarette picture here, this cigarette card, and I decided that I want to put my eye on every single piece that I want to use for this collage, and I want to do that in the order that I will glue them. So you will see in a second what I mean. So first of all, I took this card, and it looked too new and too much rectangled for me. So I tried to distress it a little bit. I also destroyed the edges a bit so that it looks a little bit older, and that I can get this brown frame to it with my distress ink. Next, I'm taking this tag here, also distressing it to see how it looks with this brown frame and in combination with the card. And this was really interesting. So I decided that I don't want to have this image here on this tag. I mean, I like this image, but not for this project. So I thought I could glue this card on top of the tag like this and have only this little postage mark and the letters on top that you can see later. And I've concentrated myself only to these both elements in this moment. And that was not only really relaxing, but it was also really helpful because I had not all of these other materials in my head. They were laying around me. No, that's no question. And I could see them, but they were not in my mind. Do you know what I mean? So I came to the idea to distress one part of this tag a little bit more. Then I'm spritzing water, as you can see, to get the distress oxide ink off from the tag again to get this really cool effect. And I think I've only came to this idea because only these both pieces were my task at this moment. And I think now, only with these two pieces here, it looks way better than before. This is a really cool method to collage, I think. I've never done that before. I would never have came to the idea to glue this both pieces together in the past. But I thought I could try that. So I glued that only a tiny bit so that I have the chance to bring some elements in between of these both pieces if I would decide that later. It felt like hours, but here you can see my finished arrangement of this collage. And now I'm trying to see how my autumn leaves would go together with this collage. I think it's a really good idea to do that separately. I mean, if you want to include leaves to your journal, for my opinion, it's a good idea to find the elements that you want to combine to the collage, do that, and then try to bring the leaves around. So, of course, if you want to have them like I'm doing it here and not layered with your collage pieces. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. So, you can see my collage goes from the left bottom corner of the page to the right top corner of the page, and I'm trying to get the leaves in exactly the other direction, from the left top corner to the right bottom corner. And yeah, then I wanted to glue that. And during the recording process of this video, something really strange happened to me. It was like hell. I can't tell you. So I had ordered a new smartphone on Amazon. And my Amazon app told me that the package was delivered and it was on a secret place. You know, when you don't are at home. So, I mean, my packages, so I have to explain sorry. My packages go here to the campsite, but they go to this little snack bar that's directly next to my caravan. And normally someone is there to pick the package for me. But on this day, they had closed and yeah, obviously the man from the post has put my package somewhere and I couldn't find it. So I ran all over the campsite, asked everyone in the reception, in the hotel, and there's also a restaurant on the other side of the campsite. I took my old smartphone and called everyone who probably could know where my package is, and no one could tell me where this package is. So I called the post office and I've asked them, sorry, but where is my smartphone? And they told me, yeah, so we can't see here in our computer where the postman has put it. I said, okay, nice, very nice. So I went back to my caravan, nearly crying, and suddenly I heard a noise out of my through my window. So I've opened my curtain and I could see the post car was driving along the street. I have thrown my brush and everything that I had in my hands to my desk, run out of my caravan to, yeah, get the postman before he is leaving. I think my neighbors have thought I am totally crazy. And I'm a really lucky girl because this person had my package. But this was an experience you definitely don't need while you are recording such a process video where you are struggling with a project and then you are struggling with thoughts about where is my smartphone. Okay, so let's go back to the project. I had to tell you that because, yeah, that's my life. Sorry. I've tried to glue these leaves here, and unfortunately they didn't stick so well. So I've used Mod Podge to glue them, and I thought that could work. I think that's the only glue that I could expect working, but it was really strange. So I've laid this heavy book to the leaves so that they can stick to my page, and that worked. I had to be really patient until this was really dry, but it worked. So you have to press the single areas of the leaves, as you can see me doing here, really well, but then it works. Of course, my paper was really, wavy and in this grungy style. So, of course, it's hard to glue something on top. But yeah, in the end, it worked. And when I had this, I thought I would like to use this purple flower here. But something is going wrong with the contrast, still with the contrast of the background and these images that I've used for the collage. And I had the feeling that this page has too many focal points. I wanted to have my focal point on this cigarette card with this woman on top. And the problem was that the other things around were too vibrant, too clear. And I thought, how can I manage this problem? So I've dried my leaves with my heat gun so that this was relatively dry when I went on. And then I decided that I wanted to use some white gesso to mute the whole thing in the background a little bit. And also, I wanted to try to get some of this greenish color from the background to the gesso. The mediums that I've used in the background, this acrylic paint, of course, is not water soluble, but the watercolor is water soluble, and this distress oxide ink as well. So I tried to smear around that around a little bit, sorry. And as you can see, that worked really well. And suddenly I had the feeling that this will get a piece that I can be happy with in the end. These smooth colors suddenly brought me into this meditation feeling. I really enjoyed to apply this gesso here, and I thought I can create some negative space around these images. Of course, don't lose the mushroom and these, these important elements of this collage elements, but I wanted to bring the frames of these pieces a little bit to the background. And I really I have problems to describe this process, because when I put the gesso on top, I had the feeling that I have to shade some areas and put some shadows somewhere. Of course, that's strange because, first of all, I'm trying to blend this. I wanted to blend the edges to the background, but while I did that, I thought, some shading would be great as well. I know I'm weird. As you can see, here I've done most of my shading, and when I did this, I was so happy. It was so cool, such a cool feeling, because this smoothness on the one hand and this black, really outstanding shading on the other hand, that was amazing. So it felt like, yeah, a real art journaling page for me in this stage. And the more I've used this black, the more I had the feeling that I become one with my page and that I can go really into this page and into this project. So I tried to get this shadows visible and a little bit extreme, but not too much. So hopefully that worked, and hopefully you see the same, that it's not too much. For the shading itself, I've used this crayon. It's a water-soluble art crayon made by Marabu. You can also use the Faber-Castell Gelatos for that. I think that's the same medium. And that works really well in combination with water, so you can blend that really, really well and bring that, really dark there where you want it, but also you can blend it to the background really well with only some water. In the next step, I've arranged these little red flowers here. Some of them I've cut in the middle. I came to that idea because I wanted to have 3 of these red elements and this one in the middle to get my focal point of the cigarette card out a little bit more. I think it's a cool idea to cut those into half, because then they are not so strong anymore. But something was missing behind this red flower there in the middle. So I thought perhaps I can use a postage stamp to bring that behind this flower and to let this look a little bit more filigrane. I mean, this tag behind the card and the card itself are two pieces that are really massive, and I wanted to break this area a little bit. So I think now it looks much better and way more interesting. By the way, after I have glued everything, I've sealed the leaves with some Mod Podge as well. And here I'm gluing a little label because this card says the name of the woman on top, and I didn't want to have this name there. So I wanted to have my own sentiment there on this little label. And here we go. I have this now. This is totally dry now. And I've added this little sentiment that says different doesn't mean wrong. And when I found this on one of my sheets with my quotes, I thought this is perfect for this page and for this project. So this journal that you can see here on my desk is my Ohrkatzelschworf journal. In here are all of the entries, as I said, that I got while I did my 10,000 subscribers junk journal tag challenge here on YouTube. There are some photos, some of the original tags that you, the viewers, have sent to me. And some of the pages are a little bit weird because I made this journal out of all of the materials that I've got during this challenge. That are photos, envelopes, the original tags, the washi tapes that you've used to decorate your envelopes, and all of this stuff. The problem with this journal is that on the right side of the right page, am I showing that there somewhere? Sorry, what am I doing there? Anyway, on the right side of the journal, it's really thin, and on the left side of the journal it's really thin, and in the middle it's way thicker because not every page goes to the very outside. And that's also the reason why I've glued these both photos there on the left side to make the page a little bit more wider and get more volume to the outside of each page. And now I want to glue this page from today here to the back side. In a second you will see that this makes the whole thing a little bit more interesting, and also the back side of this thing will be really interesting in the end. I'm applying some glue here to the very edge of this area. So here in the middle where the signature has its middle, it has to be glued really well. I don't want to have any problems when I flip the page. And on the rest of this, I'm applying the glue only on the very edge to make this not too stiff when it's glued. And I also want to leave this crunchy feeling of the page. And if I would glue it totally, I would have to press it, and then perhaps the page gets too flat for my preference. So it can be a little bit bulky. This whole journal is a bulk. You will see that when I make the flip through of this journal. So it doesn't matter. It's a masterpiece. This journal is a masterpiece, and it can be bulky. So it's a masterpiece. I don't want to sound arrogant, but there are so many things in it where I had to open my mouth and my eyes, and I couldn't close it because I was so surprised about all of the things that the people that you made. And because of that, it's a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece because here are so many people in one journal, so many creative elements from different people all over the world in one journal, and that's the reason why this is a masterpiece. And as you can see, now this page looks like a collage itself as well, and it looks like this page that I've glued is the original page and the other elements are glued on top. It's an illusion, but I think it's cool because now these edges there where I had to glue the photos look not such strange anymore, and I really like that. On this piece of the envelope, I still have some journaling space, And of course, the washi tape from the back side, I don't want to lose it and I don't want to waste it. It has to go into this journal. So I've put some glue to the back side so that it can stick again. And I've put it here. And now, for the very last step, I would like to splatter some green and some gold to my page. As you can see, the card where the woman is on top is really green, like this turquoise thingy. And on the right side, there's also some green in this tag on here where I show with my finger. That's also the reason why I've chosen this page to glue my page from today, so that I have this green. But I also want to have some green in some other areas, like I'm showing here with my fingers. I have this Distress Oxide ink that is called Lucky Clover. I made a sample here on this white paper, and as you can see, it's some kind of turquoise. It's not exactly the same color like on the card, but you know Distress Oxide inks, they always react a little bit, different on the different materials, and they have different colors in this one ink pad. And I thought it could look really great to use that there. So I've taken my acrylic block and I'm just applying some ink here to the block, and then I am spritzing some water. You can't see that here. I did that out of the camera. I had a little bit of a fear to spritz some water to my page. So here you can see how it looks mixed with some water. And then I'm taking my brush and I'm spritzing some of these splatters here to my page. And I think that looks really great. But as you can see here, the first splashes were a little bit too much. That was no problem. I could easily remove that with a baby wipe, so no problem. The background looks way more interesting after I have taken that color off, so really cool. And I'm really happy how that came out. And then in the last step, I've splattered some gold to get this feeling of autumn on the one hand, because autumn for me is always something that has to do with gold. And I wanted to have some gold because the cigarette card with the woman has this golden frame. So I thought it could look nice if I have some golden splatters here and there as well. I tried to get them to the leaves as well to see how that reacts. I've never done that before, so you know, it's all about experimenting, and I wanted to know for the future and for future projects how that will look. Yeah, so I will let this golden splatters air dry because I think that brings me the best result. And here you can see my finished page. I hope you liked it. That's prompt number 17 from Maud's prompt list. Put some autumn leaves into your junk journal. I hope you enjoyed this process. See you the next time. Stay healthy, stay crafty. Bye bye.